Good day, brother and sisters. And today we are going to study the word 3 days and 3 nights. By the way, I'm Marty Centeno, and I hope you will learn something from this. To start with, we're gonna read where Jesus said about these 3 days and 3 nights. It's in Matthew 12, verse 39 to 40. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. This is the sign given by Jesus. And the only sign here was the 3 days and 3 nights. That's what the sign that he was given. So shall the sun be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. It didn't say the whole what happened to Jonas, but it's only focused on the 3 days and 3 nights. That's what's all about. It's the sign that he will be there 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. There are different interpretations that around the Christian community. One of them is the 72-hour periods or the Thursday crucifixion. The others are the 3 days and 3 nights that falls on Wednesday crucifixion and Saturday day resurrection. And the other is the 3 days, 3 nights, Wednesday crucifixion, Saturday night resurrection. We are going to deal with this 72-hour, which falls under Thursday crucifixion first. And they based their interpretation, including the book of John, chapter 11, verse 9, and it stated that Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If anyone walk in the day, he stumbled not, because he seeth the light of this world. Excuse me. So basically, they were saying that there were 12 hours in a day. Well, Jesus said 12 hours in a day. There are not 12 hours in a day. So, basing on this, they calculate that the 3 days, 3 nights is equivalent to 72 hours. If we're going to apply their interpretation, we must know when did Jesus died or when he was crucified or when he was put in the tomb. In Matthew 27 verse 46 it says, About the ninth hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? The ninth hour is equivalent to approximately 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So while he was saying this, so Jesus was still alive. So between 3 p.m. to the ninth hour to the 12th hour, which is probably 6, is that's when Jesus was buried inside the tomb. And that's when he died. And also in John 19:42, we can see there laid they Jesus therefore because of the Jews' preparation day, for the sepulchre was nigh at hand. Because so close, and it was preparation day. So they laid them because the next day will be a Sabbath. Now, applying what we have studied, Jesus died at around the ninth hour, or more or less more. It's between ninth hour to the 12th hour. It's around 3 p.m. Jesus was buried before nightfall. if we're gonna calculate the hours and basing on their interpretation that is Thursday, let's say it's 3 p.m., and we add 24 hours, that will be Friday 3 p.m. And then from Friday, we add another 24 hours, that will be Saturday 3 p.m. And on Saturday, we add the 24 hours, that will be Sunday 3 p.m. That's to complete the 72 hours which they interpreted basing on the 12-hour per day. Resurrection should be Sunday 3 p.m. No more nor less, to be precise about the 72 hours. An hour more or less is counting part day and part night. And to if we see in Mark 16 verse 9, now when Jesus was risen, this when Jesus risen, early the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils. It was early the first day of the week. And first day of the week in our calendar is Sunday. So this Sunday 3 p.m., basing on this interpretation of 72 hours, is wrong. Definitely wrong. Unless they count the part day or part night. And the other one is the 3 days, 3 nights, or Wednesday crucifixion. And the resurrection is Saturday day. We have here our graph or a figure showing the days and the nights and the calendar days. They say that Jesus died and was buried on Wednesday just before sundown, and he rose on Saturday during the day of Saturday. This will allow you have 1, 2, 3 nights and 1, 2, 3 days. But we can easily dismiss this because in Mark 16 verse 9, as we have read, when Jesus was risen, it was early the first day of the week. So it was not Saturday, but the early first day of the week, which is Sunday. It's either be Saturday night or Sunday morning. That is the first day of the week using a calendar or the Jewish calendar. So it's wrong. The last one we have in the list is the 3 days, 3 nights, or the Wednesday crucifixion and the Saturday night resurrection. They say that Jesus Christ was buried on Wednesday night, or Wednesday, just before before the night, and he was resurrected during Saturday night or the first day of the week, the very no the very first day of the week. In Luke 9:22 we read, saying, the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and the chief priests and the scribes, and be slain and be raised the third day. So if we're going to apply this Saturday night will be the third day. Excuse me. There are problems with this. Although if we go back, uh, If we go back, it seems like it is a perfect uh, interpretation. We can see that 3 nights and 3 days, and Jesus rise on the uh, first day of the week. However, as said, there were problems in this. First, they have to consider the part day, part night as extra. What did I say? Why did I say that? Remember, Jesus Christ died Wednesday at approximately 3 p.m. or more or less 3 p.m. Yeah, and then the up to 6 plus 72 hours. I mean, it will be Saturday 3 p.m. On any extra hours will be part of the day or part of the night. We know for a fact that it was still day when Jesus was buried because it was preparation day. We read from Luke 23 verse 54 to 56, and that day was the preparation day, and the Sabbath drew on. And the woman also which came with him from Galilee followed after and beheld the sepulchre, and how his body was laid. Listen to this. And they returned and prepared spices and ointments, and rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment. They managed to return and prepared spices. They cannot prepare the spices if it's still Sabbath. So they have managed to prepare their spices and ointments. It was still day of the preparation day. And then they rested the Sabbath day. So it's still part of the day. So if we apply this to their graphs, to the graphs that uh, we have presented, and we read also Luke 13:32, and he said unto them, Go ye and tell them that fox, behold, I cast out devils, and I do cures today, and tomorrow and the third day I shall be perfected. Let's consider that Jesus said this at, at 3 p.m. When he said this, or 3 to 6 p.m. when he said this verse. If we're going to apply this, yeah, it says here, I do cures today. If we apply that to the when Jesus died and was buried, it will be Wednesday. And tomorrow, the next day after that, will be the second day or tomorrow. And then we see here the third day, I shall be perfected. The third day, if we apply this statement to on Wednesday, should be on Friday. But we see here that their third day is on Saturday. So definitely, even though this picture or this graph represent 3 days, 3 nights, it doesn't represent the real uh, interpretation or how Jesus knows how to count the days. So this third day on Saturday is wrong. So how we to understand this? First, we need to look at Jonah's account. And we read in John 1:17, now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Note that this verse said 3 days and 3 nights. It did not say after, or it did not say 3 days, 3 nights, and four or another day. So note this may also mean that there's a part day and part night of the first days and the last days. meaning we don't know what time was Jonah swallowed by the fish, and we don't know that when he was spit out by the fish. We only know that it was 3 days and 3 nights, so only God knows. What is after 3 days mean? We read in Matthew 27, verse 63 to 64, when the chief priests came to Pilate asking for support or enforcement, they said, saying, "Sir, we remember that deceiver said, while he was yet alive, after 3 days I will rise again." And in verse 64, they continued, "Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the third day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away and say." I did not write the whole uh, verse, but because I want to make sure and I want to make a point that after 3 days is is their interpretation, or they what they believe during those days is also the third day, or until the third day. It's not the fourth day, it's the third day. How we going to count the days? We need to count the days as God has said how we would count them, or as in the beginning of days. And we read in Genesis 1:5, "And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day." Applying the beginning of days to our graph of nights and day, you see here that the evening and the morning were the first day. It start in the evening, and start in the start of the morning. That will be the first day. So till the next evening comes, it is start the second day in the morning, and the evening and the morning again were the third day. That's how it was counted. It start on the night or the darkness, and the end is the days. So evening and the morning, and then also the fourth day. You see here there are 1, 2, 3. On the third day we have 1, 2, 3 nights and 1, 2, 3 days. That's a 3 days and 3 nights. Meaning to say, the 3 days and 3 nights is also equivalent to the third day. What Jesus meant about in the heart of the earth? Most of them interpreted this as in the tomb, when Jesus died and was placed in the tomb. Is it really the meaning of this? What is the true meaning? We read in Matthew 20:19, "And shall deliver him to the Gentiles," Jesus said, "to mock, and to scourge, and to crucify him, and the third day he shall rise again." It says here, he shall be delivered into the Gentiles. That's the first step. In here as well, in Mark 9:31, "For he taught his disciples, and said unto them, The Son of Man is delivered into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and after that he is killed, he shall rise the third day." And on Luke 9:22, saying, "The Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected of the elders and the chief priests and the scribes, and be slain, and be raised the third day." So this prophecy include that the Son of Man, the suffering of Son of Man includes when he was delivered to the Gentiles to be mocked, to be scourged, and is also include when he was delivered into the hands of men. That's where it starts. And also it continues that he will be slain and be raised the third day. So when was Jesus handed over to the Gentiles or the sinners? We read in Matthew 26 verse 17, Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And in verse 18, And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him that Master said, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. In Matthew 26, verse 31, Then said Jesus unto them, This is the night when after they eat the Passover, all ye shall be offended because of me this night, the night of the Passover. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. And in verse 45, the fulfillment, Then cometh he to his disciples, and said unto them, Sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. This is the time when he started to be in the heart of the earth, when he was betrayed and delivered into the hands of the sinners. It was the night of the Passover. So, applying the unleavened bread, the Passover, and the resurrection, we see on the first day of unleavened bread, Jesus told his disciples uh, to uh, to go to a man and said where he would stay on the Passover, and they stayed there on the night and eat there, and that night was the Passover. Excuse me. And that night, on that night as well, also Jesus was handed over to the hands of the sinners or the Gentiles. He was betrayed by Judas and was delivered to those soldiers. And that night as well, he was tried by or rejected by the elders and the priests of Israel. And also we know that during those on the ninth hour, going to 12th hour, Jesus died and was buried. It was also on the first day. And we know that on the first day, on the early first day of the week, Jesus has risen. How do we know that it was the third day? There is the Emmaus confirmation. When the disciples were walking, going to Emmaus, and they were talking about what happened, and they meet Jesus, although they haven't, the eyes weren't open yet. They said this in Luke 24 verse 21. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And beside all this, today is the third day since these things were done. So that day when they were walking still in daylight, it was the third day. Applying the Roman calendar, as we have studied here, If we apply this, we know that the Roman calendar starts from day to night compared to what God has uh, given in Genesis, that it started the evening and on the morning, because there was darkness first and then there was light. So it start on the evening in God's in Genesis, but in Roman calendar we start during the day and finish at night. So if we apply this, we know we first start at the first day of the week is Sunday. So before Sunday is Saturday, and then Friday, and then Thursday. So here we can see that Jesus Christ was buried on Friday afternoon, but he was handed over on the night of Passover, which is on Roman calendar is Thursday night, which is also the Passover or the first day of the counting. In summary, brothers and sisters, the term in the heart of the earth starts when Jesus was handed over to the sinners on the Passover night, or in Roman calendar, Thursday night. Jesus died and was placed inside the tomb between the ninth hour and the 12th hour of Friday, that is before the Jewish Sabbath. Jesus rise on the early morning of the first day of the week, or our Sunday, the third day. Brothers and sisters, if you have learned something from this, if you think this holds some truth, please share and please subscribe for more videos to come if God's permit. God bless all of you.